Thanks for joining me again. Another week of the Trump presidency continues to create chaos and division, not only in Montgomery County, but throughout every community in this nation. This week, President Trump made the unprecedented decision to pause all federal grant programs, then had to retract some of his grand overreach, and finally, a federal judge had to intervene and put a temporary injunction blocking the implementation of his actions. This is deeply troubling and potentially dangerous. Federal grants are not abstract line items in a budget. They are lifelines that fund essential services. Montgomery County government alone receives hundreds of millions of dollars annually in federal funding, not to mention our school system and state programs that benefit us also rely on some of these funds. This federal support is critical to supporting our first responders, public health providers, housing assistance programs, and services for the most vulnerable among us. Public safety could also take a serious hit. Federal grants help us equip and train our first responders, support public health initiatives, and maintain critical infrastructure. Without these funds, our ability to respond to emergencies, ensure public health, and protect residents will be undermined at a time when our community cannot afford delays or disruptions. What makes this situation even more damaging is the lack of clarity and coordination from the government. The haphazard implementation of this policy creates chaos and uncertainty, leaving local governments and organizations in limbo. We're still waiting guidance from the federal agencies to determine the full scope of the impacts, but it is clear that his decision will create ripple effects far beyond Montgomery County. Vulnerable Americans across the country will bear the brunt of his misguided policy. Speaking of misguided policies, this week I want to speak directly to the concerns many of you have about recent federal immigration directives and how they might impact our community. The President's administration has signaled a more aggressive approach to immigration enforcement. Reports of ICE agents canceling leave and facing quota demands suggest that enforcement actions will continue to escalate. I understand that these developments create fear and uncertainty for many of our neighbors, particularly in our immigrant community. Let me be clear, Montgomery County remains committed to being a welcoming and inclusive community. We will continue to support and protect the dignity and rights of all of our residents, regardless of their immigration status. We'll continue to provide necessary services to everybody who lives in this county. Our local government does not enforce federal immigration laws. That responsibility lies with ICE. We continue to operate under Executive Order 135-19 that we issued in 2019 during the first Trump administration. This allows Montgomery County to focus on its role in addressing public safety while the federal government enforces immigration laws. However, we recognize the critical importance of making sure all residents are informed about their rights and prepared for what may come. That's why we've partnered with community organizations, Montgomery County Public Schools, and other agencies to provide resources and support. Information on your rights and emergency planning are important for you, and these services are available at our Gilchrist Immigration Resource Center website, montgomerycountymd.gov/Gilchrist. MCPS has also been a leader in this area, ensuring staff are trained on protocols that safeguard the privacy of students and their families. They do not share information with ICE. It is also important to address how increased immigration enforcement can impact public safety. Fear of deportation makes some residents, particularly immigrant communities, reluctant to report crimes to the police or to cooperate with law enforcement. This erodes trust, which can reduce cooperation, which makes it harder for our police department to keep everyone safe. Our police officers are not tasked with enforcing immigration laws. They are here to protect and serve everyone in Montgomery County. We're also going to hold the federal government responsible for following the rule of law. This week, we filed an amicus brief supporting Attorney General Brown, along with other states and municipalities in their lawsuit regarding federal actions last week to end birthright citizenship. This action is a clear violation of the 14th Amendment, and we expect that these lawsuits will prevail in a court of law. As we continue to monitor this situation, I hope you will stay informed and follow our updates on our website and through trusted community partners. Montgomery County remains committed to ensuring that everyone feels safe and supported. This is your home, and we'll continue to stand together as a community. I want to be clear about what is actually happening right now. So far, as of today, ICE's actions have consisted of searching for individuals who are wanted for particular crimes. They are not different than what they were actually doing before all this started, because ICE had been active in all the communities when they have opportunities to pick up people who've committed crimes and deport them. So what they're doing, and at the scale they're doing it at right now, isn't necessarily exceptional. What we're worried about is what happens when they move beyond the criminals and decide to move to the stage where they're deporting anybody who came here. That's a very different situation. It hasn't unfolded to that point yet, but we just want people to not be unduly panicked by what we see happening right now. We'll keep you up to date as we see things develop, and if things change, we'll let you know. The Trump administration could greatly impact the pace and scope of our progress on addressing climate change. While we can no longer count on the federal government to help support our efforts, that will not stop us. It is crazy in this day and age to be trying to stop the adoption of EVs and the construction of windmills and solar farms in order to increase our nation's reliance on fossil fuels. Burning coal and oil have created the unprecedented climate crisis that is unfolding in plain view, and the president's goal is to make it worse. That's pretty hard to believe, but that's what he's doing. But here in Montgomery County, we've set ambitious goals and charted a path to reach them through our Climate Action Plan. And this week, we launched a new initiative to help us reach those goals, the Climate Smart Campaign. The Climate Smart Campaign is built around a simple yet powerful idea: big change starts small. This slogan reflects the truth that we all need to embrace. Each of us has a role to play in addressing climate change, and the small everyday decisions we make, when multiplied across our community, can drive meaningful progress. Personally, I've been making these changes over the last several years, whether it's been leasing an EV vehicle, adopting solar power to my house, growing my own large garden, or reducing the waste my household creates. I hope that this campaign empowers all county residents to make similar decisions in their households. The campaign focuses on 5 key areas where you can take action: food, planning meals to reduce food waste, shopping at local farmers markets, and composting food scraps can all reduce our carbon footprint. Emergency preparedness. Climate change increases the risk of extreme weather. Preparing for emergencies, checking your flood risk, and signing up for Alert Montgomery are practical steps to protect you and your family. Transportation. Taking public transit, walking or biking instead of driving, and joining our EV electric purchasing co-op are ways to cut emissions from the largest source of greenhouse gases in the county. Energy. Making small changes like switching out to LED light bulbs, scheduling a quick home energy checkup, and managing your thermostat can save energy and reduce costs. Plants. Planting trees is one of the most effective actions you can take. Trees can absorb carbon, provide shade, and beautify our neighborhoods. One of the highlights of the Climate Smart campaign is the pledge we're inviting residents to make by scanning this QR code you see. You can commit to simple, actionable steps that make a difference. This pledge is an opportunity for all of us to come together and show how small actions can lead to big change. Yes, we have ambitious targets, and we know they will not be easy to achieve. But working together as individuals, families, and businesses and government, we can make Montgomery County a model of sustainability and resilience for other communities to follow. Please consider taking this Climate Smart pledge to join us in this important work. The link is at montgomerycountymd.gov/climate. On Monday, we observed International Holocaust Remembrance Day, a solemn occasion marking the liberation of the Auschwitz concentration camp, a place where unimaginable atrocities were committed. Auschwitz stands today as a memorial to the more than 6 million Jewish men, women, and children who were murdered during the Holocaust, along with countless others who were targeted by the Nazi regime. It serves as a reminder of the dangers of hate and the cost of silence. 80 years later, the horrors of the Holocaust remain, a powerful and painful chapter in human history. Yet despite the passage of time, we're witnessing a troubling resurgence of anti-Semitism. Holocaust denial, conspiracy theories, and outright lies have been spread with alarming speed, threatening to distort history and deny the suffering of millions. That's why it's more important than ever to defend the truth. The stories of Holocaust victims and survivors must be heard, remembered, and retold. Many Germans sat silent, not believing that Hitler could be the monster that he was. He appealed to their nationalism and demonized Jewish people and others as he brought in his attack on desperate communities. There are way too many parallels in our current situation to feel comfortable. Holocaust Remembrance Day is not just about reflecting on the past, it is a call to action. It is a reminder that we must reject bigotry, educate future generations, and stand against all forms of hatred. Only by remembering the Holocaust can we honor its victims and ensure its lessons endure, and work toward a world rooted in peace, justice, and the unwavering defense of human dignity. So I guess you know it's tax season, and for many people, tax preparation can be an onerous and costly process, and many tax credits that people are eligible for go unclaimed. Our Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Program, or VITA for short, provides free tax help to eligible residents and connects them with valuable tax credits. To qualify for VITA help, your combined household income should be no higher than $67,000. Last year, a little over 2,200 people took advantage of the tax program, leading to returns of more than $6.5 million. The state and federal earned income tax credit, the county's Working Families Income Supplement, and child tax credits are just some of the ways you could potentially add thousands of dollars to your tax refunds and to your family's finances. Montgomery County is one of the few jurisdictions that offers a local supplement to the state earned income tax credit, ensuring even more support for your families. This program not only puts money back into our residents' pockets, but also helps build a pathway to self-sufficiency. Eligible residents should call 240-777-1123 to schedule an appointment. Or you can visit montgomerycountymd.gov/cashback for information about our free tax sites, tax credits, and financial resources. As a volunteer-based program, Community Actions VITA relies on the dedication of dozens of highly trained volunteers every year. I want to thank them and the county employees who are devoted to helping more of their neighbors utilize this important program. Community partners like CASA, the Equity Center, Cross Community, AmeriCorps Seniors, AARP, and Community Tax Aid will be at work through mid-April to ensure those in need of free tax preparation can receive it. There is still time to take advantage of Metropolitan Washington Restaurant Week, which goes through Sunday, February 2nd. More than 100 restaurants are offering deals, including some in Silver Spring, Bethesda, Rockville, and Gaithersburg. Visit Montgomery.com has a link to a searchable website for all of the participating restaurants. While you're there, learn about the MoCo Eats Food and Beverage Showcase, which will take place in March. This is the first year of the event. The day will focus on something special for foods and spirit enthusiasts. Day 2 will center around the hospitality industry in order to help professionals learn and network. If you're interested, you can sign up to be notified when tickets are available on the Visit Montgomery website. One of the great traditions I encounter every year is the weeks of celebration that go on for Lunar New Year. Over the past week, I got to attend numerous celebrations and joined the County Council in honoring this important holiday for our Asian communities. I want to thank all the community groups, nonprofit organizations, businesses, volunteers, performers, all who organized and produced these festive events that were held throughout the county. This is the Year of the Snake, a year which we are supposed to be wise and able to transform in a changing environment. I can't think of a more appropriate sign to guide us for 2025. Montgomery County will mark Transit Equity Day on February 4th in honor of civil rights activist Rosa Parks. Her protest aboard a bus in Montgomery, Alabama in 1955 sparked a movement for equal rights that would not be turned back. It is a fitting way to begin every February in Black History Month. I lived through times when racism, bigotry, and hatred had an ironclad clasp on our society. It was marked by segregation and unequal justice, or more directly, it was a hallmark of injustice. We are never going back to those days, and we will also not be satisfied with the status quo. We've made progress in Montgomery County as we've emphasized the equitable delivery of services for our community. We've made it a point to ensure that all of our decisions are seen through a racial equity lens and social justice lens to ensure that no groups are left out. Unfortunately, policies to promote equity have been forbidden in the Trump government. Diversity, equity, and inclusion language is being removed from all federal government documents. You can't speak of diversity, equity, and inclusion. Workers are being asked to report other workers who may be favorable toward these ideas and report these people to their agencies so they can be fired. The struggle of Black population in our country has persisted long past the end of slavery. It impacts access to education, the ability to build wealth, and justice in our courts. These are things that have been tolerated for far too long, and it needs to change. To achieve the equity, we must remain committed to breaking free from the systemic and inadvertent racism. We cannot roll back policies that bring disadvantages back into the fold. That would be a disservice to our history and ourselves. So that's a wrap for today. I hope you have a great week, and I'll be back again next week.